Dear thick-skinned Cathal Crowe TD of the real world, with the real guards, this video contains the sound effect of a gunshot. Please do not panic. It is only a noise and it cannot harm you. I regret that I live in a society with a political establishment that absolutely despises the rights of its citizens, and I am once again compelled to make a video in defence of my right to freedom of speech, as it appears that Cathal Crowe TD has made a complaint to An Garda Síochána about a video I made criticising him. I also find somewhat amusing that his complaints were reported on various newspapers and that he was invited to the RTE to discuss the trauma of being insulted and criticised on the internet, all within hours of his complaint. On the Claire Byrne show, he refers to himself as having a thick skin, yet he begs government to legislate against words that make him uncomfortable. He said that he lives in the real world and not the virtual world, which I would imagine is his way of calling me a coward. The only thing left out, which would really have entertained me, would be ending his discussion with the disingenuous Claire Byrne with the sound of a gunshot, much like the way I end my own discussions. And speaking of gunshot, I am not going to address this rather infamous sound effect again, as I am quite satisfied with the evidence I have produced and the explanation given for its use in my last video. But I encourage all to watch my videos, and I encourage you to find any threats of violence to any innocent party in those videos. As the author of the content I produce, I will declare that my videos represent my perception of the world. They represent my honest opinions and criticisms of laws, the moral state of this country, ideology, and indeed politicians, amongst other things. And many of my videos end with a thought or even a prediction. But let me be clear, considering the society we live in, with its cowards, its Marxists, and its authoritarian politicians, my thoughts and predictions can be rather negative, as I believe history informs us that state tyranny typically leads to bloody revolution. But are my videos a call to bloody revolution, or am I trying to persuade those who govern us that our freedoms, paid for by the revolution of our grandparents, are too precious to relinquish? I will let you decide. But something else history shows us, which I think is profound. For thousands of years, our differences were settled by spilling blood. From the most basic disagreement between two individuals to all-out war between villages, even nations. The miracle that is freedom of speech has only served to civilize our world, and in my opinion, it is the greatest gift we possess as inquisitive, thinking people. It is the mechanism by which we give life to our thoughts, understand the world, and resolve our problems. This most fundamental freedom has come at a cost too great to fathom in any meaningful way, and you, thick-skinned Cathal Crowe TD, along with your benevolent and supremely kind government, are trying to strip this right away. Answer me this: what can a man do to fight his battles if he is stripped of his words? Do you understand the meaning of the word tyranny? Are you so inept and morally bankrupt that you believe men and women were born to submit? It fills me with dread, indeed despair, to think that the fall of the Berlin Wall took place in your lifetime, and that you and your fellow totalitarians in power have no idea of the events which took place up to that moment. Either way, I'm not going to stop. My content is obviously thought-provoking, and I will, as I have said before, continue to use my freedom of speech to express honestly my ideas. And although I am not trying to end up in a prison cell, I fear this government has already decided my fate. But I suppose, if Socrates can choose poison before silence, and Alexander Solzhenitsyn can survive the gulag for his beliefs, then maybe I can play my part in highlighting the importance of this great freedom we stand to lose. In closing, I will say the following. You have platforms like Twitter and the state broadcaster to rely on in order to perpetuate your ideas and messages. You even have Dáil privilege to protect you from the legal ramifications of defaming individuals, groups, and indeed political parties when things in the so-called real world don't go your way. And I, unfortunately, am limited to a small channel on YouTube to publicly express my ideas in accordance with the tyrannical laws that limit the full range of thought. And you know what? Thick-skinned Cathal Crow TD of Fianna Fáil, I am waking more and more people up, day by day, video by video, to this government's attempts at crushing our freedoms.